Next up, we have QuaranPalooza favorite David Gans.
Hi, are you ready for me now?
I am ready for you, sir.
All right. Enjoying the music so far this evening. What was I going to start with? Oh,
1 second.
I'm good to go, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good. I'm going to start with a song by a friend of mine, Joe Burke. I had the great privilege of producing his record a few years ago. It's called Just Watching the Show. In fact, we had so much fun that the musicians that made this record decided to become a band, and we call our band the Yerba Buena Orchestra, and we will play together again soon as things become safer. But I've adopted one of Joe's tunes, and by the way, it says perfectible.net under my name here, or after my name. That's because my online store is perfectible.net. I have music and books for sale there, including Joe's record. It's basically the only place you can get it if you don't know Joe Burke personally. So if you like the song, you might check out the rest of these songs. That's the wrong key. That's the wrong key also, isn't it? Borrowed my Jack Kerouac and then took off in my Cadillac. I don't care if she don't come back, but I sure do miss that car. The railroad tracks run down my arm. I sold my soul, nearly bought the farm. Traded my bag of beans for a good luck charm. I sure do miss that car. I sure do miss that car. I sure do miss that car. I don't care who's the president. The money's spilled and the blood is spent, and I ain't got enough to pay my rent. I sure do miss that car. I fold my hands and I make a wish. I clean my plate and I wash my dish. I may be a no good son of a bitch, but I sure do miss that car. I sure do miss that car. I sure do miss that car. Too far, maybe jumped the shark. The story's the same at the old ballpark. I sure do miss that car. Well, she took off in my Cadillac after borrowing my Kerouac. I don't believe she's coming back, and I sure do miss that car. I sure do miss that car. I sure do miss that car. The guy who wrote that song is Joe Burke. It's on this record. Available only at perfectible.net. I'll play one of my own songs here. I've been playing almost every single day. I played a live show online since April 4th of last year. That's almost 15 months of almost every day. It's just been a really, really wonderful experience. Obviously, it's been great for my chops and great for my singing and great for my sense of having a small but a fervent community that's tuned to my music. It's a nice feeling. It's nice to be part of this community as well. I've heard a lot of really nice music today and in previous QuaranPaloozas. So this is a song of mine I wrote a while ago. It's for anybody who ever had a job. Sorry. I think I'm right on the verge of going postal, 'cause the Dilberts are driving me insane. It's such a lack of enjoyment in my place of employment. It is time to initiate the end game. You see, I had me a job watching ice melt, but the action was more than I could take. So I took a position in another division. Now I spend my days watching hearts break, watching hearts break. It's a corporate culture like a Shark Tank. They can't even read your resume. But once you get hired, you can never get fired. But you have to be crazy if you do stay. If you do stay. And now a high guy in a tie-dye is waving bye-bye with a dry eye on a flyby in a high sky, singing my, why try? He's singing my, why try? Well, I was pissed 'cause I had to take a drug test. I was drunk, but they didn't seem to care. It's just my chemo solution to my moral pollution. Not a reason I shouldn't get to work there. Get to work there. So now I'm trying to find myself a new gig where the corporate culture ain't so cruel. The defamation machine is so efficient and mean, it makes adulthood alarmingly like high school. Like high school. And now a high guy in a tie-dye is waving bye-bye with a dry eye on a flyby in a high sky, singing my, why try? He's singing my, why try?
Love it.
It's kind of weird coming from a guy who's been self-employed for 50 years. I've dealt with corporations, so this song has the word gig in it as well. Gilman and I-80, I was driving my car. 57 minutes, hadn't gotten too far. Everybody's heading for the beach or the lake, a ball game or the circus or a naked parade. It's summer by the bay, summer by the bay. Traffic is a hassle every inch of the way, in every direction, every time of the day. It's summer by the bay, summer by the bay. Well, hating Buena Vista, I was riding my bike. Along come Mr. Mello with the strain that I like. Annie in the intersection walking her dog. I turned around and everyone was lost in the fog. It's summer by the bay, summer by the bay. The afternoons are colder than the evenings, they say. Be sure to dress in layers and you'll be okay. It's summer by the bay, summer by the bay. Gentrified in Jingle Town, sweating the rent. Too much month remaining when the money is spent. I'm sitting here in limbo till I make it big. I told my dog to drop the bone and find us a gig. It's summer by the bay, summer by the bay. I can't afford to move out, I can't afford to stay. There ain't no place on earth I'd rather live anyway. It's summer by the bay, summer by the bay. I can't afford to move out, I can't afford to stay. There ain't no place on earth I'd rather live anyway. It's summer by the bay, summer by the bay, summer by the bay, summer by the That song is on this record, Drop the Bone. In fact, it's the title track. I don't think that this next song has the word gig in it. This is a Grateful Dead song. I do mostly originals here on the QuaranPalooza, but I've done a few covers here and there. And this is one of the last, if not the last song that Robert Hunter and Jerry Garcia wrote together. And it's one of the deepest they ever wrote together. It's just an amazing song. Excuse me one second, go ahead. That's my wife, Rita. She's been working on photos over at the other side of the studio. Anyway, the song is called The Days Between, and one of the most interesting things about it, it's Robert Hunter and Jerry Garcia telling the story of the Grateful Dead in that Robert Hunter way. But I've started playing it, backing another guy. I'm in a band called Fragile Thunder with a wonderful Hawaiian slack key guitarist named Stephen Inglis, and when we've played it together, and also in our trio Fragile Thunder with Vanilla Lauren, I've just had this great privilege of just standing back and listening to Stephen sing the song, and I just love it so much. And it was just a really wonderful experience to be accompanying him on the song. And over the course of this permanent residency I've done for myself here with the daily live streams, I started doing that song. I've done like 400 different songs in the last 15 months with a sort of active repertoire of about 150 that I rotate through. And they're songs that I keep coming back to, and this is one of them. Because I started singing it for myself a couple of months into this thing, and it just sort of quickly became, because it's our story too, is one of the reasons I think it works so well. We Deadheads walked halfway around the world with them, and staked our own sanity on put our own sanity on the line a few times too. So I feel like this is everybody's song that was in that world. Sorry, got confused for a second. Because I played it in a different key with Steven, and the Grateful Dead did it in a different key, and for some reason I just had a sudden lapse of memory. I was thinking about the Steven Ingles. There were days, there were days, there were days between summer flies and August nights, and the world grows dark and mean. Comes the shimmer of the moon on black infested trees. The singing man is at his song, the holy on their knees, the reckless are out reggae, the timid plead their pleas. No one knows much more of this than anyone can see. One can see. When phantom ships with phantom sails set to sea on phantom tides, comes the lightning of the sun on bright unfocused eyes. Blue of yet another day, springtime wet beside, a hopeful candle lingers in the land of lullabies, where headless horsemen vanish with wild and lonely cries, lonely cries. promise of the glow stood upon a mountain top, walked barefoot through the snow, gave the best we had to give. How much we'll never know, never know. There were days between. Polished like a golden bowl, the finest ever seen. Hearts of summer held in trust, still tender, young and green, left on shelves collecting dust. Not knowing what they mean. Valentines of flesh and blood, as soft as velveteen, hoping love will not forsake. Days that lie between. Oh, well, the man who stole the future has an oil drum for a heart and a strange preoccupation with other people's private parts. They want us to do what they say, but I'd rather live my own damn way. We'll take our country back someday, but it's gonna get worse before it gets better. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. It's gonna get worse before it gets better, but I know it's gonna get better. Yes, I know it's gonna get better, 'cause it almost always does. I can't say much about the who and how, but I believe it just because Day by day our bonds unweave. Mammon gloats as nature grieves. Oh, save us from these pious thieves. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. But I know it's gonna get better. Well, I love the world we live in, 'cause I live in it with you. So proud to be defined by what they buy. These righteous despoilers, these blood for oilers, taking orders from on high. And I don't know whose word I take about this God whose laws I break. I'll swan dive into that fiery lake. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. It's gonna get worse before it gets better, but I know it's gonna get better. Well, these Andarchian forces are clamping down on us unconforming souls, waving flags and bashing fags and burning truth like coal. Now I don't know, but I've been told the naming rights have all been sold. Hell is hot and heaven's cold, and it's gonna get worse before it gets better. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. It's gonna get worse before it gets better, but I know it's gonna get worse before it gets better. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. It's gonna get worse before it gets better, but I know it's gonna get better. But I love the world we live in, 'cause I live in it with you. So much. That song's on a record of mine called The Ones That Look the Weirdest Taste the Best. Also available at perfectible.net. And I'm going to play another song from that. This is the woman that walked out through the picture a few minutes ago. That's my wife. Her name is Rita Heralt. She's the finest human being I've ever known. We both feel lucky to be married to each other, and that's kind of the optimal situation for these things. And I wrote this song for her a few years too late for our wedding, but she thought it was fine in due time. That's real love, so hard to define it. Don't you dare decline it. When it comes for you, you'll recognize it. You'll come to prize it. That's real love. That's real love. It's such a treasure to take such pleasure in your regard. We've done the hard part. Let's lead with our hearts. That's real love. that's real love. There's nothing sweeter than life with Rita, my real love. It's everlasting, it's flabbergasting, that's real love. As I said, that's on a record called The Ones That Look the Weirdest Taste the Best. Looks like I got time for one more. I'll do one of the greatest songs ever written by anybody. It was by the great Townes Van Zandt. Living on the road, my friend, was gonna keep you free and clean. Now you wear your skin like iron, your breath's as hard as kerosene. Weren't your mama's only boy, but her favorite one, it seems. She began to cry when you said sank into a dream. Pancho was a bandit, boys. His horse was fast as polished steel. He wore his gun outside his pants for all the honest world to feel. Pancho met his match, you know, in the desert down in Mexico. Nobody heard his dying word. That's the way it goes. All the federales say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away. Out of kindness, I suppose. Lefty, he can't sing the blues all night long like he used to. The dust that Pancho bit down south ended up in Lefty's mouth. Hey, they laid poor Pancho low. Lefty split for Ohio, where he got the bread go. Where there ain't nobody knows. All the federales say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away. Out of kindness, I suppose. Poets tell how Pancho fell. Lefty's living in a cheap hotel. The desert's quiet and Cleveland's cold. So the story ends, we're told. Pancho needs your prayers, it's true, but save a few for Lefty too. He only did what he had to do, and now he's growing on. All the federales say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away out of kindness, I suppose. A few gray federales say they could have had him any day. They only let him go so long. Out of kindness, I suppose.
Awesome. Thank you, David.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure. Sounded great.